Bro, we were talking about Taylor Swift. Did you all see the AI images of Taylor Swift that came out?
No,
Oh,
but
have I
I
heard
heard
like
she
all
was.
red and all
Yeah.
that?
I heard
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
doing some lawsuit because of it.
Is she
Dude.
really?
Yeah.
Wait, no way.
Yeah, I
What's
could have
that?
sworn I saw something that said that she was getting legal action involved with her and her lawyer from everything about it. But no, I haven't seen pictures of it.
I saw scrolling through Twitter some of the pictures, but it's pretty. I don't think people really understand just how crazy AI has gotten.
Dude, yeah, AI is nuts, dude. You could like I've seen like those videos where they're like making like famous people say different shit. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The one that had like 12 different like actors and stuff, like just walking into frame.
yeah.
That I thought it was a real thing.
Dude, even with the whole generative fill on Adobe, I mean, look at all the things that you could do on Adobe. Like,
Mhm.
just take a random picture and you could edit just about anything in there with AI.
Yeah, that
I saw
We'll
a
say.
video, what was it? I think it was yesterday, of somebody that made a prank call to somebody else and was using
Okay.
AI to pretend that they were somebody they weren't to let somebody into their building. And it's like,
Oh, that's
yo,
scary.
that's
That's
nuts. Yeah.
terrifying.
I mean, there's really not, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah,
if you
that's
really
crazy.
if you really think about it, I mean, look at how far AI's come in the last year, and between just that, or all the schools cracking down on people using AI to write assignments, or
Yeah, like Chat GPT or
yeah.
whatever.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that that's gonna stop anytime soon.
Well, here's the thing. Teacher as myself, we spent a whole PD day, or I guess half a day. It was like 4 hours, learning how to use AI.
So
To,
they were
like,
teaching you how
Wait,
to
they
they
were
were teaching you how to use it?
yes.
Oh shit.
So
do
it's
you
like
do you get a lot of like AI written stuff in your classes?
last year, whenever I was teaching science, I got a handful that I could just tell because they're just like grammatical errors, and like I'm like, I know this student, and I know this is not something that they would say.
he's talking at a college level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
How do you
I'm like,
spit
I
like
never
a
even wrote this at
physicist?
Mizzou.
Spitting like a physicist.
But then like when I was talking to the ELA teacher, she was like, "Yeah, like half of my essays are AI generated." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool."
Wow.
But then at the same time, we're learning how to use it, so it's like,
I think it could be really useful to learn, like, to help, but I don't know. I think it's going to get really bad in terms of, like, just what you can do with AI. But I got to imagine that there's going to be some sort of regulation on it, but I couldn't tell you when that will be.
if used in the right context, I think it's great.
Yeah.
I feel like it's better for like problem solving stuff, but I feel like that the issue shouldn't be looked at as like why is everybody using AI, but I feel like it'd be more of like a what, for example, like all the kids using like Chat GPT to write essays in English. What are they not learning by not taking steps and just copy and pasting what Chat GPT says?
I mean, bro,
True.
I would have done that and used Chat GPT when I was in school because my dumb ass doesn't know anything about math. You kidding? I could have punched in a problem in Chat GPT and went, yeah, are you kidding me? I would 100% use that.
Yeah, basing off of like Connor's point, like you're gonna see like I feel like you're gonna end up seeing like a dip in like testing scores, like ACT, SAT, like because I mean if you can just Chat GPT your way through fucking algebra, like you're not gonna learn any of it.
You got to think about the like economical impact that may make because you got high schoolers and college kids that are using ChatGPT and med students that are going into
Oh, God.
hospitals and shit that don't know what they're doing because they're using AI to. But I think that's like it's gonna form outside of just like schoolwork. I think we're gonna start using AI for a lot of things. And I mean, we've seen how far just technology has advanced. I mean, I've seen something where a doctor can control a robot from like halfway across the globe to perform a surgery on somebody. Like that would have never been able to be possible. Like
Yeah, but
10
is that
years
necessarily
ago.
AI or just like a Bluetooth?
Well, I don't think that's AI specific, but I mean,
Well,
I think you can pair AI with the technological advance that
yeah, I was about to
we're
say
having.
it's a technological advance. Like those, I know what you're talking about, like the laparoscopic
Yeah,
surgeries where like you can. What it does is it has like they have like two arms
Yeah.
and they're remote controlled and they do incisions, go into your stomach, like do whatever, and then like what it like the thing behind it is that it's less scarring, like that it's like there's less trauma to the abdomen if they just do two little incisions compared to having to like straight open you all the way up. Like,
but Connor,
um,
even sprawls outside of like the medical industry. With you going into like cybersecurity, think about how much you will be able to use AI to like help write code or help solve problems in code or
They already use it anyway. I mean, the biggest thing I feel like with AI should be used more of like problem solving than anything else. But I mean, I was thinking about it today is like, why was AI even introduced to like the general public? I mean, you already know that most people, like you said, degenerately use it anyway, whether it's writing essays, letting people in on buildings. I just didn't necessarily understand is like when it was released, or at least ChatGPT, and then all these other things are coming out. It's like, why was it even released in the first place? Because it wasn't like it was. It seemed like it was more of like a fun project, like you release a video game for. Like
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
release a video game to have other people play it, but like there was no, like, you weren't releasing Chat GPT to cure cancer, or like there was just no like underlying fundamental thing, rather than to like just release it to a bunch of people and see what happens. So it's like
well,
trying to control the chaos.
I think one of the really scary things about ChatGPT is the ability to like self-learn. So we're making like a, you
Do
know,
you know that that's an actual thing though?
yeah,
Or
I'm pretty sure that's come
Yeah,
out and said that it was like
dude.
learning how to,
Self-learning.
yeah, self-learning, and then you're gonna start getting into like Terminator situations where
But
you gotta
I
run the
was gonna
world.
say that same shit. Like,
I
I was
don't
like,
know,
we're gonna
because
end up like movies and shit. Like,
if that makes sense, I was just talking to a guy today that he was saying that he used Chat GPT. He was an electrical engineer, and he was telling me, because I've never used it. Like, I've never been on a website. I don't know app, no idea. I know about it, but he was telling me that he thinks that it's gotten dumber since he's used it over the last couple of months. And if that's the case, then I gotta imagine that they're probably handling, you know, a majority of people that have no brain cells, and they're just like, there's no PhD that's using it, so like they're learning off of these people over here, but they're not learning off of these
did
The geniuses.
did he give you like a theory on why he thinks that? Like, or did he just say
No,
that he
he was
feels
just
like that?
yeah, he was just stating that like it seems like this is the case, and that like each time he used he seems like he's still getting the answers that he's asking it, or getting the answers to the questions that he's asking, but it seems like a lot of the time you have to ask it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
To get to the point.
Yeah, almost the same questions, somewhat reworded to get a complete answer you were looking. I don't know. I mean,
Interesting.
has anybody else used it?
No,
I mean,
I've
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 used
never
it.
used it. Yeah, I've never used it.
like I
I've used
said,
it for a
you
lot
just
of
ask it
things.
questions,
come
right?
7 years ago, I would have been using that shit like it was crack. But there's just not really a point for me to use it in what I'm currently doing now. But I mean, I seriously think that it's going to be very useful in the future for, like you said, problem solving or medicine related or school, like Chris said, using it to benefit, teaching
Teachers
kids or things like
Yeah.
that. But
coming up with lessons, and
yeah,
I mean, I've been using it personally to like come up with ideas for like my own personal content, like just like here's what I've done type stuff. This is the games or whatever that I do. Like, what can I do with this, and kind of get the ball rolling with that. And then I'll just take an idea and kind of twist it to how I see fit.
See, I don't feel like with like athletic training, like with what I'm going into, like I don't feel like I would need to use Chat GPT because a lot of like
Tape
Like,
this dude's ankle.
well, I mean even even like past that, like with like rehabbing somebody, like I'm not going to use Chat GPT to tell me how to rehab an ACL tear, like because I feel like I wouldn't get the like proper like way to do it. Like I feel like I would be better off like either A, using what I've learned, or B, just going off of like research articles on like what the best way to do it is. Like I just like for me it's not practical to use it, but like in like your case, Chris, like trying to find content ideas or like
Mhm.
less about like yeah, that's practical, but
Now, I think the real question is, does it need to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Governed. Does it need to be looked at by a? I mean, I don't think that everybody should have access to something like that.
I mean, it itself is already a higher order. If it's already learning
I
of
mean,
itself, I mean,
yeah,
what
yeah.
what organization is set to govern something that learns stuff?
Well,
That's
what I was
true.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, I mean, like, should it? Probably because of some of the stuff that you can do with it. But like, it's kind of hard to govern something like you said, Connor. That's just like constantly learning. We think at least it's
I mean,
constantly learning it.
if everybody has access to it, though, then we get back to the original point where things are released that are explicit. Obviously Taylor Swift is one of the largest icons maybe of all time, and you get very explicit, and that ruins her name, image, and likeness. And we were talking about that yesterday, me and my mother, and we were like, what would you, I mean, how do you fight something like that? You go after the person that posted it originally? I mean, unfortunately, now that stuff's on the internet, it's like it's never coming off. So no matter what you do, everybody's gonna have access to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as far as like what, because didn't somebody come out with like Kanye West song a couple months ago?
I've seen,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I've
dude,
seen
I've
a
seen
whole bunch
so
of
many
AI
songs.
songs.
I've seen
mean,
Drake and 21 Savage
was
songs that have
great.
been released. I mean,
I've seen Juice World songs
yeah,
I
that have
think
been released with AI.
I think the reason I brought that up in that sense, it's like, the artist is the one that's going to be coming out with that. I mean, so I would think that like if it wasn't on a platform, like if Taylor Swift didn't tweet that she had a new song out, why would she post a new song?
but
You
like
know what I'm saying?
what I'm
But I
trying to
mean, as
say,
far as pictures,
what I'm trying to say is like, I don't know if I haven't, I don't keep up with laws that well, but like, is there anything in place now that would prevent somebody releasing like a AI version of a song? I mean, because if there's not, it's going to be hard to chase that because you're going to be way behind the curve. If somebody releases a Drake version of a song, what stops? I mean, what do they have to bring that song down? Because it's not technically, it's not like you're actually like forcing Drake to make the song. It's just AI.
yeah, but like in that instance, Drake's department or whoever he has in charge of it, like they're going to just ask whoever to take it off their platform, because if whoever created it is saying that it's Drake's song, but Drake comes out and says remove it, it's not a song, the platform itself is just going to remove it. I mean, are you going to prevent the fact that another Drake song could pop up? No, but I mean, you still have the actual owner or the person itself. Now, is it still just going to float around on everything else? Probably. I mean, you still have people pirating music and whatnot, so it's not that like. Will it float around YouTube? Maybe, but is it something that'll be on like Apple Music or Spotify? I gotta imagine no, if they're asking for it to be taken down. But
Yeah,
I gotta
I would
imagine that pretty popular. Obviously, like Taylor Swift and Drake have that kind of pull, but those younger artists, I'm not sure that you
well,
would
yeah,
have
no,
that kind of pull to get something removed from a platform.
yeah, but who's gonna come after somebody who's got 100,000 followers versus 100
I
million?
mean, you give somebody with 50,000 followers, you make an AI song that says something super stupid, or you could potentially ruin somebody's career just because you felt like it. And there are obviously fucked up people in the world that would do something like that. So
Yeah, I mean, shoot, maybe the Detroit Lions should have used AI based off the
damn.
game.
It
Bro,
probably
I mean, it
should've.
was 24/7. What do you expect?
Dude, they sold them and the Ravens both sold
Dude,
so
okay. I
hard.
mean, I think the Lions choking was bad. I think the Ravens not making at least to the Super Bowl was one of the worst choke
Okay.
jobs that we've seen.
I'm I'm gonna get into a huge soapbox with this because
we go.
Oh,
I get mad because I was watching the game and the lack of ball security for the
Yeah.
Ravens is unbelievable. You have Zay Flowers who catches a ball instead of tucking the ball and just trying to drive into the end zone, he tries to reach out for it like with two defenders around him. Like you got to protect the ball there, and then you got Lamar throwing the pick in the end zone, like threw it up
The
into
triple
pretty much
coverage.
It was pretty
Yeah.
much triple coverage. Like,
Yeah.
why are you throwing that ball? Like a lot. Like think about if they were able to convert on the Zay Flowers touchdown, and Lamar doesn't make that throw, ends up hitting a check down. They keep this drive going. They at least get 3 out of it. That's 10 more points. They lost by 7. That's the game. You win.
I
Mhm.
think both teams looked really bad, but I think that the Chiefs coming out on top in that game, I think you might as well just give them another Super Bowl.
You don't
Yeah,
think the Niners can pull through?
That Niners roster is obviously, you look at the names
Disgusting
on
on
that
paper.
roster. Yeah, I mean, you see that all the time, but I think the Chiefs are a better team than the Lions, and the Lions obviously held a lead for a majority of that game. Obviously that was a bit of a choke job by the Lions, but I don't think you stop Patrick Mahomes. I think he's the greatest quarterback the game's ever seen.
I have a hard time believing that Brock Purdy is better. Like, not all of it is predicated on a quarterback. I want to say that you
Yeah.
got way more pieces than that. Like, if you're gonna go straight position group stacking up, San Francisco has the better running back. San Francisco has the better receivers. The tight end, you'd probably say it goes to the Chiefs. O-line, I toss up. They're both pretty good offensive lines. I don't know the full statistics on it, but watching it doesn't look bad. Defensively, I'd probably give it the edge to the Niners, but quarterback play is just like it's so important in the game now, and you get 10 times better quarterback play out of Patrick Mahomes than you do out of Brock Purdy.
The thing
Hey,
is,
don't
could
talk about
Brock
that system
Purdy
quarterback like that.
can Purdy distribute better than Mahomes can? I guess.
I think it's going to be
Be
an
the
absolute
playmaker.
shootout.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be very high. I think it's going to be higher scoring than people are expecting, because I think I would have to look at what the line is for the Super Bowl current.
I mean, they're talking that the Chiefs are going to win it 31-20, but
I just don't see somebody stopping Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's already got this far. We thought this was one of the worst seasons that the Chiefs have ever had in the Patrick Mahomes era, and they're in the fucking Super Bowl. So it's like, I mean, you saw
there's
obviously in
also-
the beginning
yeah,
of the
but
season.
I don't think people were hating on the fact that, or were not believing that Patrick Mahomes couldn't get him to the Super Bowl. It was the rest of the team needing to step up. I mean, they've obviously
Yeah.
done enough, but like in regard to the Ravens, I mean, the Ravens did shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah,
I think without a doubt, like Jaron said, 2 touchdowns count, and their defense doesn't let up over 100 yards in penalties.
I mean, yeah, this might be the best.
That's a different complete game.
Yeah.
I
I-
just looked up the betting odds real quick. Just wanted to say this. The 49ers are favored by 2.5 points, and the over/under set at 47.5.
Ooh.
So they're expecting the game to go about kind of like what Connor said. Like it's going to be about, they think 27-21, 28-21 would be like around, like that would be the over. And I think it might be a little higher than that. I think we're probably looking at a game into like 35, like, that kind of area, like 42-35. The spread at 2.5 doesn't look bad though. I think
I
that's
could
going to
see
come
this.
down a little bit though.
I could also see this game being like a Ravens Chiefs score, like a very low scoring game.
Mm.
Because I think that the Chiefs, this might be one of the best Chiefs defenses that Mahomes has had in his Chiefs era. I think that they could limit the 49ers. And I think the 49ers has potential to really just clamp down on those receivers and just kind of force Mahomes to make a play out of nothing. Which,
Yeah.
who knows if he can do that. But
I mean, I think regardless of, I think it's whoever's defense is going to stand tall. I mean, I know that you have, everybody wants to argue that Brock Purdy is, Brock Purdy. He's
game
obviously
manager.
not
He's
obviously
pretty
not
good.
Patrick Mahomes, but I think where Brock Purdy lacks is where Kyle Shanahan picks up in his play calling. And I think the only way that either one of these teams loses is if their defense lets up. I mean, that's it. Whoever's defense makes more of the mistakes.
I mean, we saw Baltimore have arguably the best defense in the league. I mean, in some statistics, I know it was first. We saw them, I don't want to say get dismantled by the Chiefs, but you're giving up big plays after big plays that are detrimental to your team. And if you're not disciplined in the AFC Championship, how are you going to be disciplined in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but San Francisco's disciplined. I mean, they're one of I know the 40 or the like you said, the Ravens have one of the best teams, but just back in the day when you had Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, I mean they were flying around like they were head hitting. They did not care, and a couple penalties is not going to end that squad. But I feel like when it comes to the 49ers, like they those are the mistakes that they make once and then they fix it, without a doubt. I think as far as their defense goes.
Given all of your football experience, is that a coaching thing or is that a mentality thing from the players? Where does that discipline really come from?
Like when you're coming from them not making mistakes?
I would say I think it depends on the situation. Like
I think
if you're go ahead, Chris.
I think overall it's going to be a mentality that's built from the coach. The coach has been putting this in all season to where, and like all off season, to build this like mentality of being disciplined. And I feel like the 49ers might be able to take that if it comes to discipline, just because you have the young guns in Kansas City. The lights are going to be bright.
I think going off of what Chris said, I agree. Like that, it kind of goes to coaching. Like, a lot of like, like if you get like an unnecessary roughness where it's like, like the guy was completely out of bounds, you hit him, like that's like the player's losing his cool almost is like how it's kind of perceived. That like, oh, the player got too aggressive and he ended up hitting him, and then now it's a penalty. And a lot of the like good coaches, they'll shut that down immediately. Where like they'll teach you to keep your emotions in check. Don't retaliate. Don't like keep everything in check. Play hard, play physical, but don't do anything that will hurt the team. Because like I've seen on multiple occasions when I was playing, like that we would have. It was almost like you take one step forward and two steps back, where it was like like we had a great play where we get 30 yards on the play, but somebody held. So now we're going back minus 10 yards again. So then it's like, well, now that 30-yard play just turned into a negative 10-yard play. So now instead of working from 1st and 10 from the 50, now we're working 2nd and 20, 1st and 20 from like your own 10-yard line.
Now, not to discredit Shanahan, just playing devil's advocate here. Is he really just like Nick Fury in charge of the Avengers, or is he that good of a coach?
I think offensively, he's got a system in place that works. Defensively, he's just got dudes there. I mean, you got
dogs.
Yeah, you got
Fred
dogs.
Warner,
you got Bosa, Fred Warner, Chase Young. You got Dre Greenlaw. You got Javarius Ward. You got all these names on the defense. And not saying that you don't on offense. I mean, you still got Debo and Kittle and McCaffrey and some will say Brock Purdy and Ayuk, and you got all these weapons. But you've seen the 49ers offense work with multiple different quarterbacks in there. It worked when you had Jimmy Garoppolo. It worked when you had Trey Lance for the very, very, very minimal time that you had Trey Lance. It worked with Brock Purdy. I mean, it's worked with quarterbacks. It doesn't matter the size, doesn't matter the style of play. I mean, you had Jimmy Garoppolo, who is more of I'll run it if I absolutely have to. You got Trey Lance, who he'll run it all around the yard. And then you got Brock Purdy, who he's staying in the pocket no matter what. He'll run out if he absolutely has to, but he wants to stay in the pocket. And, like, the offense always works. So I think offensively, that is definitely because of Kyle Shanahan. But defensively, I think that's more of just that they just got dudes on defense.
Yeah, I mean, does he even call defensive plays? Thought he called
Uh,
offense.
no, Steve Wilkes calls the defense for the 49ers.
I mean, yeah, you get situations like the whole Brandon Staley thing, and how I heard that he was going to be the defensive coordinator for some team they were interviewing him, but
Mm.
how Brandon Staley was a coach for that long, I mean, I should have been the coach at that point.
What are you
Some of
gonna
the
run buck slot under?
dude, some of the decisions that Brandon Staley was making was very, very questionable.
Oh,
But
it's the Rams.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Rams.
Speaking of coaches, though, we want to talk about the absolute masterclass that the Atlanta Falcons put on, fumbling the bag with maybe the greatest coach that's ever played the game.
Dude, he's not going to coach for a team this year.
I heard that it was. You think he's going to take a year off and just come back
Yeah.
next year?
Him and Vrabel. Have you seen what the candidates for the Seahawks job is right now?
I
No.
thought Vrabel got a job.
Dude, no. Vrabel's still out there.
I heard. I definitely don't think it's gonna happen, but I think it'd be very interesting if it did. It was someone on like TikTok that Belichick could go to Michigan, where Tom Brady
Oh my God. I saw this.
graduated from. Ready? And since Tom Brady is retired, he can now use his last year of eligibility technically and go back and play at Michigan with Bill Belichick.
I'm pretty sure that there's something in the pros that state once you go pro, you can never go back. Or not in the pros,
Well,
but in college.
No, actually, it's
No.
not because
Really?
J.R. Smith did it. J.R. Smith played
That's right,
in the
golf.
NBA, and then he went back
Yeah.
and played golf.
You're right.
I would be curious to see if it like works. Like, hey, I played in the NBA for 2 years and didn't work out. I'm retired for 2 years. Now I can go back and play in college. I don't think it would work like that, but like,
I think
Hey,
it's
who
just
knows?
different sports.
maybe Bill Belichick ends up being Michigan's basketball coach, and Tom Brady ends up being their sixth man or something.
Bro, could you imagine 19-year-old just signs to Michigan, you get a call from the head coach. Yeah, Tom Brady's going to be throwing you the ball this year. I hope you're ready to play. Like, bro.
Tom Brady's sticking to that Fox broadcast.
Yeah, he's getting a bag. I saw that this was going to be the last year for, what was it, Greg Olson? I thought he did a fantastic job. But I think Tom's obviously going to have a great future in broadcasting.
See, not a lot of people liked Greg Olson. That was the problem. A lot of people, it was very 50-50 on Greg Olson.
Dude,
I don't
speaking
think
of
I've
Greg
heard
Olson, this is
much
an
of
insane
it.
stat. I heard a stat today. I don't know if this is 100% true, but every game that he broadcasted against, when the Lions were playing, they have never won a game. Every single time.
Are you serious?
Can you imagine being that much of a bad luck charm every time a
That'd
team
be-
plays?
Yeah, that's crazy. I found the list of the Seahawks interviews for head coaching jobs. They had second interviews with Dallas defensive coordinator Dan Quinn,
I did see that.
Panthers defensive coordinator Ajiro Evero, Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, and Raiders defensive coordinator Patrick Graham.
I got something that really puzzles me is why is there so many OCs going to like head coaching jobs from other teams? Like, just for instance, that Panthers organization is a dumpster fire. We have seen,
What?
from top to
I
bottom.
think they're very good run,
From top to bottom, they are horrible. What would make you, as a GM or an owner of a team, say, "Yeah, I want to go hire this guy as to be my next head coach"? Like, why do you skip out on the Bill Belichick's or the Mike Vrabels to go get, some OC that is obviously not doing his job very well?
I mean, it could be a connection thing, but at the same time, I mean, look at like Kyle Shanahan. Their OC is still an OC, but Kyle Shanahan really calls the offense. So like game plan, the OC could be doing his thing, but he's getting trumped by the head coach that is telling him no. I feel like that you could argue that, but in regards to, it could just simply be that he knows a guy who knows the way he's coached, but
Maybe
Yeah.
they're just not a fan of like Bill Belichick. It just could be as simple as that, and they think that an OC they're trying to give someone an opportunity to
I mean, yeah, you
one
do see people like
expand.
Antonio Pierce come in and completely change around the culture of a team. So
You also
Dan
got
Campbell.
yeah. You also got to think about, as you
Yeah,
brought up, you also brought up how poorly run Carolina is. Like, if you're Bill Belichick, you just left the Patriots after a historic run. You won 6 rings. Do you really want to go to the Carolina
true.
Panthers? I wouldn't.
Yes.
I think with when
I
that
want to
comes
end my
down to-
last years of my
Yeah,
legacy
miserable.
rebuilding a new team.
Yeah.
just absolutely
Hey,
miserable.
He wants to show if Tom Brady can go to an NFC South team and go win a championship, so can
I
he.
can do it as a coach.
I
That's
could do it
right.
as a coach to
That's
Carolina. No, but I think a lot of it is from ownership perspective. You need someone that's going to get you through this rebuild. Like, I know me and Evan were talking about, like, with the Blues, Drew Bannister. Like, I could see him being brought back as a full-time just to be, like, the guy to get you through the rebuild. Like, do I think Dave Canales is going to be the head coach of the Carolina Panthers for the next 10 years? No. I think he'll be for, like, 3 years.
Connor's
I think he'll
all in
be
on
for-
the train.
Connor's all
Yeah.
in on Dave
I'm
Canales.
a Panthers fan now, bro. Sign
Yeah.
me up, Bryce Young. We're going to the Super Bowl 2027.
Hear me out. I know
Wow.
what's gonna save the Panthers.
Yeah.
My
What is it?
hero, my idol, Nick Saban. Bring him back, baby. Let's
Oh
go.
my gosh.
He's done. He's,
Oh, no.
You think he's done?
He's no coach.
Touchdown, Alabama.
Yeah, he's gonna
Touchdown,
enjoy
Alabama.
retirement, man.
Yeah, no, but like I think ownership looks at it as they need a scapegoat here in 3 years when they are ready to actually compete, and then they can go sign like whoever ends up being out there. Like, you never know. Next year, you could see the Bills' job open up. You could see what if Andy Reid retires and the Chiefs need a new coach. Like, that's why with like Vrabel and Belichick, it would almost be kind of beneficial for them to wait a year and then see what opens up next year. The Dallas job could open up next year. I wouldn't be shocked if they fire Mike McCarthy after next year. But then again, we've said that for 2 years and they never
That's
did.
true.
But then you got, the Chiefs job could open up, the Eagles job could open up, the
You
Buffalo
think Andy
Bills.
Reid's retiring?
Dude,
Oh,
I was gonna say,
mean-
kind of backtrack a little bit. Do you think Kelsey and Andy Reid call this it if they win?
I think Kelsey will.
Kelsey's
You think
got
Kelsey
one more
will?
year on his contract. It's like 12 and a
see-
half, I think, somewhere around
See,
there.
I think they both wait a year, and then
How
I
old
think
is Andy Reid.
65. I just
I was-
looked.
I was gonna look it up.
Yeah,
but-
I mean,
And
I don't.
The
I
belly
mean,
man.
he can
at
still clearly
71.
coach. I mean, obviously, he's a great coach. He's done great things, but I mean, with Patrick Mahomes, being 28, like,
I mean, yeah, let's talk about it. Patrick Mahomes is only going to get better. I mean, I think it's very clear to see that he's been the best quarterback in the last couple of years in the league. But, he's hitting his early 30s in the next couple of years. And if they continue to build weapons, they get – I heard that who was the receiver that they were trying to get? Obviously, Stephon Diggs is going to be a free agent here. Mike Evans, I'm pretty sure, is going to be in the free agents pool. If they can pull a big name and kind of build that offense and even replace a tight end if Kelsey retires, I think you're going to continue to see the Chiefs reign. I think you could call it a dynasty if they win this year.
I
AJ
think
Brown to the
Kadarius
Chiefs.
Toney is going to be the new face.
Could you think KT's staying?
KT
Bro, did
KT
you
come
Oh,
back here
KT's
next
not
year.
hurt,
Bro,
so-
did you
KG
see
comeback
that?
player of the year
Did you see-
2024, 2025.
Did you see he went on Instagram Live and said that he wasn't actually
Yep.
injured?
Yep.
What? They
Yeah.
actually just benched him.
They
That's
said he
crazy.
didn't want him to play.
Yeah.
I gotta imagine KT's not lying about it. So
Why
Oh, I
would he?
would. Why would he? Yeah, I was just say, what does he
Yeah.
gain from lying about that?
But what does he gain
Uh,
from saying that he was not injured?
Yeah.
nothing. But
Because everyone knows he's just going to potentially throw the game for the Chiefs anyways.
I was gonna say, but the Chiefs game
Hey.
winning, the Super
Hey,
Bowl.
buddy.
But
Like, if you're
Hey,
in
a
his
ring's a
position,
ring.
I was about to say, if you're in his position, you're looking at a ring. I mean, like, hey, let me warm up a little bit, get some
Bro,
pictures for the gram,
Listen,
and then I'll sit up in the press box.
dude,
Like,
I'm
I'm
pretty sure.
cool. I'm cool.
I'm pretty sure like Chase Daniels is like the 40th highest paid quarterback of all time, and I don't think that dude started more than like 30 games in his career. You want to pay me $50 million to be a backup quarterback? You tell me where to sign, bro.
You sign me up now.
Yeah, please.
Wait, who's the backup for the Chiefs now?
It's Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah.
Oh, Mizzou boy.
Hey, Mizzou breeds some great backup quarterbacks. I'll tell you what.
Hey, Brady Cook.
Hey, we got Drew
Potential
Lock,
good,
Chase Daniel,
Okay,
Brady
speaking
Cook
of quarterbacks
incoming.
here, I need some input on this too. Obviously,
Oh,
this
here we
year you have, people are claiming that Caleb Williams may be the greatest draft prospect of all time. You got other quarterbacks like Drake May, or you got a wide plethora, Penix. If you are the Chicago Bears, are you taking a quarterback here? Because look at next year's draft pool. You got
They're
people like
trash. It's
Brady
so bad.
Brady Cook. I mean, you don't have a quarterback like you do this year. At least, obviously we haven't seen the next year of the college football, but are you taking a quarterback and shipping Justin Fields?
What I do is I take Marvin Harrison Jr. You get Justin Fields a target. I think you take him number 1 overall.
Yeah, I mean, you already got DJ Moore. I mean, he was getting better as the year went on, and I mean, like Chris said, I think if you have DJ Moore on one side and Marvin Harrison on the other.
So look, I'll go through a couple here. You got Chicago's first pick, then it's Washington, then it's New England, then it's Arizona. Is he going third, Caleb Williams? Because are you staying with Sam Howell in Washington?
No.
No,
I think
You
he
don't
goes
think so?
to Washington.
yeah.
But also you got to think about Caleb Williams being the way that he is, where he's like, I'm not going to this team. I'm not going to this team. You think he actually wants to go play in Washington?
I mean, I know he doesn't want to play in Chicago.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I think with Chicago, there's so many different ways you could do it. I think you could keep Caleb Williams, like you said, Chris, and draft Marvin Harrison. I think honestly, you could. It sucks because you look at like we said, the quarterbacks next year, they're not good, and you're putting a lot of eggs in one basket with keeping Fields, passing on potential generational talents in May and Williams. But like, I think if you keep Fields, you get him another target and you get him a competent OC, and I think they'll be fine. Just you could use the I mean, you could honestly trade back like 1 or 2 picks and let.
They also do have the 7th pick as well. So
yeah, because
or the 9th. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you take Harrison, like even if you want to trade back from the first pick and go like, let's say pick number 2, let Commanders take whatever quarterback they want, and you take Marvin Harrison 2nd overall, you can go get like an edge rusher or a DB or something with the 9th pick. Then you're starting to load up your defense. You have weapons. You just need offensive line.
Yeah, they're
Maybe if
either
one of those
going to go
tackles are there.
secondary or front 4. when it
I'm
comes
really
to that
surprised to
9th
hear
overall
that
pick.
y'all aren't bought in on the Sam Howell project. I thought he had a really good year. Obviously, Washington is not
We
a
got to take
contender,
over
but-
here.
He's a product of Eric Bieniemy.
You think so?
Yes.
You take Caleb Williams over Jaden Daniels?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jaden
think so?
Daniels. I think it is. Obviously the kid's very talented. I think it is a miracle that kid did not get himself seriously injured throughout the year. The amount of big hits that he took, doing
He took a
a
lot of
little bit
licks.
extra than what he needed to do. I mean, bro, you do that against Fred Warner, you're gone
You're
for
done.
several years, bro. I don't think that I don't. If you transition that to the NFL, there are cornerbacks that are going to want to kill you every play.
Well, I think if you go to the NFL and like that's what you were doing, you get into a system where they're like, "Dude, don't do that."
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
you
they'll
said-
never
Like,
tell
you're in
you
the
that
big
as a
leagues
quarterback.
now.
There's
I
no
mean,
way.
look at Trevor
look at
Lawrence
Patrick
year
Mahomes.
1.
No, I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes. I mean, and you can even
would
argue look
say.
at Trevor Lawrence. They shut that down quick. They were like, "Look, we get it. We understand that this is what you're doing." I mean, look at Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
he
that
was
was a
out the whole
perfect
year
example,
because of
yeah.
it. He won't do it next year. I mean, he's going to use his feet. He's
Well,
going to do
yeah,
all that. Like
see,
that makes him good, but he's not taking those hits.
I mean,
They
It's gonna be a
learned
trial
that
by
fast.
fire. It's gonna be a trial by fire. It's gonna be like one of those like, hey, throw him in the deep end, sink or swim kind of thing, or like
mean,
The
problem
like
with
you
that is,
touch
though,
hot stove and you figure out that it's hot, like that one of thing.
the problem with
I
that
mean,
though, you see like an ACL injury, and sometimes players never are exactly who they were after, or you potentially, I don't wish anything bad, but you see a career-ending injury because of something that happened because they tried to extend the play a couple more yards or something like that. Just
ah,
I don't see, especially the Jane Daniels, the extracurricular activities. I don't see that going very well in the NFL.
I mean, some probably said that about Michael Vick back in
That's
the day.
true.
Look what he did.
I
And
I'll
was
say
Lamar.
110%
comparing
said that
Jaden
about
Daniels
Michael
to Michael
Vick.
Vick,
110%
but
said that
it
about Michael
clearly
Vick.
worked for Michael Vick back in the day. I mean, again, like Jaden Daniels is a good quarterback. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know
100%.
that he's. We'll just have to see what he does in the NFL. But I mean, look at Mike Tyson. He said that you get punched in the face, you're gonna get back up. You know what I'm saying? Like Jaden Daniels, he'll get back up.
He is a
but
dog.
He's not
Yeah.
gonna take.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not gonna like getting hit by Patrick Queen, and I'll learn to get down next time.
Dude,
say
I
it
saw
hard
I
like
saw a
that.
funny picture that said an immovable objects meets an immovable force, and it was Patrick Queen and Isaiah Pacheco meeting in the egg.
Yep.
That's
All right, we'll
amazing.
find out in 2 weeks.
So, dude, speaking about Isaiah Pacheco, you got a franchise running back in Pacheco. You sticking with him?
I mean, why not?
for a few
Yeah.
more years.
A few more
Yeah, I mean,
years.
why would you
Yeah,
go?
I
With
mean,
anybody else?
like he's on a rookie deal. It's the Chiefs will keep a running back. Most teams in the league will keep a running back until the rookie deal is done. They'll give him like a franchise tag, and then they'll just let him walk. The Cowboys did it with Zeke. The Vikings let Cook walk. You see it all the time now in the NFL. That Pacheco, he will not end his career as a Chief, but for the next few years, oh yeah.
Okay, now hear this out. Obviously, speaking back on the Chiefs, Kelsey doesn't have too much longer. We don't know if it's going to be this year or next year. Is it too early to draft a tight end to replace him? I think they have, what is it, Noah Gray right now. But I mean, do you try and go maybe after like a Brock Bowers or something like that?
no, you won't go that early.
You don't think so?
No, because
No.
the Chiefs are looking for receivers. I mean,
Yeah, I was going to say, if
without
they
a
don't take a
doubt, their
receiver in the
first
first
pick's
round,
gonna be
burn the place
receivers.
down.
You think they go for
regardless
it?
if they get somebody in free agency or not, they're looking for a strong, in-depth.
You don't think
Top
that they
guy.
have, young guys right now that could be molded with a veteran coming in? Like I said, Stephon Diggs is obviously going to be a free agent. Mike Evans. I'm sure there are a couple other wide receivers.
Well, I mean, Rasheed Rice has been doing his thing.
He's been a dog, yeah.
yeah.
Rasheed
I mean,
Rice
he's
is
been
great.
doing fine.
But
But
I think
I think they still look at. I mean, assuming Travis Kelce has been not only doing things on and off the field, he's been teaching Noah Gray just about everything he knows. I mean, Noah Gray, I'm not going to say is going to be the next Travis Kelce, but he's going to be a guy that steps up like Isaiah Likely. I mean, he's going to fill that role in a solid thing that, like, if Patrick Mahomes needs to get the ball to somebody, he's going to be open. He's probably not going to be making, that extra pizzazz that Travis Kelce has, but you need those 10, 15 yards like Isaiah Likely did with the Ravens until Mark Andrews came back. I mean, that's exactly what he's going to do. So I got to imagine that they're going to go receiver, a strong, fourth guy, fifth guy, try and get somebody in free agency. And then, they'll probably pick up a tight end maybe in the 4th, 5th round. But
I just
I
really
could-
don't. I don't see
I
the
could-
end to the Chiefs' reign anytime soon.
no,
I could see the Chiefs holding off on a tight end pick. There's one guy and I might be a little biased because obviously also a Mizzou fan. Mizzou's freshman,
Here we go.
Mizzou's freshman tight end. What's his first name? It's like Braden
Ben-
Norfleet
Ben Norfleet.
or Ben Norfleet. Yeah,
Francis Howell
I
product.
think he has great potential to do great things at Mizzou if Mizzou chooses to actually use their tight ends. And I think if they do and he gets like really good development, I think he has potential of a good NFL career too.
Yeah,
So,
I think
uh,
Connor, you hit it not right on the head. I just have to add this. Connor, you hit it on the head. I agree. I think they're gonna wait to get a tight end because I think that, like you said, Noah Gray could be a perfect like stopgap almost for a tight end, and you can wait, and maybe it's Ben Norfleet. Who knows? But like, you could definitely wait and get a tight end later, and you just focus on receiving. You focus on getting your wide receivers right. Maybe you bring in the veteran like Stephon Diggs or like an AJ Brown. They try to get AJ Brown from the Eagles, or somebody, and they build that receiving core, and they don't worry about getting the tight end because maybe they think Noah Gray can be that guy.
I just think he's going to be like a Dawson Knox. He's just a solid guy. He's a target that you can go to. He doesn't have to be anything extra.
Isaiah Likely was I was exactly what I was thinking too, was that Noah Gray was kind of like an Isaiah Likely, where like he's very dependable. Like we saw it that for the one game that Kelsey was out, like Noah Gray, it didn't. Obviously, you could tell Travis Kelsey was not on the field, but it was like this guy's given you enough to where it's like we could do something. We could do something with this.
Right.
So kind of spinning it back to this draft. I mean, obviously a lot of, that's how the draft works. A lot of poor teams go higher in the draft, but you got teams like the Chargers that are 5-12. I mean, who do you say, is it time to move on from the Kyler Murray project in Arizona? Is it time to move on from the Daniel Jones?
Yes, sir.
Is it time to move on from Daniel Jones in New York? Or, I mean, even with Tennessee, are you giving Mayonnaise Messiah another year?
You're going to give him a chance, but I think
Will
there's going to
Levis
be a
gets a
lot of
chance.
I think there's going to be a lot of teams that are maybe not starting rookie quarterbacks, but that if you were starting in last year's league, that you're going to have somebody right behind you that that there's a little more tension on that rope, if you know what I'm saying, that once it's cut, you're no longer.
So I'm kind of curious about this. I know you guys said that you were kind of over the Sam Howell project. Do you think he ends up on another team? I mean, obviously we got guys like Desmond Ridder and Minnesota, obviously Kirk Cousins is now a free agent. You got Geno Smith. You think he ends up on another team?
I think it's gonna be the next Chase Daniels. Great backup quarterback, baby.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
I think he is. I think like talking about like the quarterbacks, like the Kyler Murrays, the Daniel Jones, the like with those two, it's going to be so hard to get rid of those contracts because one, they're massive. I think Daniel Jones is making like $40 million a year. And same with Kyler.
I need his
Kyler's
agent
making like
as my
40,
agent,
50 minutes.
buddy. Please make a call. I'm open. You got him a bag. I need a bag too, please.
Yeah, like it's just gonna be so hard to trade those contracts away that I think those two teams, sadly for me, are kind of just stuck. And I think with the Cardinals, I think they wouldn't get rid of Kyler anyway because of the ACL injury and coming back from that. I think they'd give him a year. And I think as much as I want to see us get a new quarterback, I don't think it'll happen. But
oh yeah, big Cardinals fan.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, buddy. Unfortunately for you, I'm not sure that that's going to change anytime soon. I think you guys might be struggling for a little bit, but
I did want to bring up one thing. I looked on Twitter real quick, and BR Betting tweeted something from FanDuel Canada that you can bet on whether Travis Kelsey will propose to Taylor Swift on the field. The odds on this, yes, is plus 190, and no is minus 250.
I'm hammering the yes, bro.
Would you bet on actual factual? Would you take a trip? Would you go ahead and go hop on a plane? You hop into the airport, hop on a plane to Toronto, log into your FanDuel account, and you put a place to bet on that. What are you picking?
I think you're riding a Super Bowl win. They win, I think you're going yes. They lose, I think you're a better time and place. But I've heard, obviously this is all rumors. I've heard that it's getting more serious. But what could you find a more perfect time than after winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but then if he does that, he's gonna have to retire. So if you're arguing I
Why?
just don't.
You think he's going to get in a
Why
Giselle
not
situation?
parlay it?
Out on top.
Why
Comes
not
out on
Why
top.
not parlay it? You get a Chiefs Super Bowl win. Travis Kelce proposes to Taylor Swift and
And he
retires. Then get the Gatorade color in there. The Gatorade
Yes.
color will be like
Nobody take
blue.
this betting advice, please. We are not responsible for any betting advice.
Put your mortgage on it.
Oh man. I seriously believe that if they do win a Super Bowl, that he might call it, especially, you know, the more serious that relationship gets. But
I mean,
Speaking-
he already doesn't have to work for the rest of his life.
that's true.
I figured he was probably going to go into broadcasting or something anyway. But I mean, dude, like, if you're marrying Taylor Swift, there's not a whole lot of
That's
extra
true.
stuff that you got to do after you retire.
I'm kind
You
of
guys
curious
are-
too. I want to think that he will because, you know, he's kind of getting, I think he's what, 34, 35? Or is he older than that?
Who? Travis?
Travis, yeah. Whatever age.
Uh,
he,
He's
37.
34.
I don't think he was that
Maybe I'm
old.
thinking of his brother.
He is
He's
34.
34.
34,
Yeah,
so I was right.
Jason's 36 or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like he wants to because obviously, you know, he just got a new relationship and, you know, he's not going to be able to be that physically dominant for that much longer. But if you go out now, you're also kind of stealing your brother's spotlight. You know, obviously the Eagles had a horrible end to the season. Shout out Connor, the Eagles fan. But
Go Birds!
you know, I mean, they could also do like a ride out together thing. You know, both of them leave at the same time. I think that would be kind of cool from a brother standpoint. But I don't know. I guess
like
we'll
you
see.
said, I think it ultimately just depends if he's one. I mean, he's already up there in the argument, if not the greatest tight end.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you said, the Kansas City Chiefs aren't going down anytime soon. You know, I think that's just up to him if he's willing to go another 17 games for a Super Bowl. I mean, you got to think that they're back in the playoffs again next year.
Yeah.
You know, we've already seen what a lot of the veterans do, you know, in prime time. So you got to think that they're already high Super Bowl contenders, even if they lose this year. That I think it just depends if he wants another ring or not, because there's not many more yards or many more touchdowns or like any other statistic that would, you know, boost him higher other than the fact that he could get another ring.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a Gronk situation where like I feel like he came back to go be with Tom Brady to win one more bowl, but then after that, like there's not like there's somebody else to fill other areas in that spot that Gronk could go win another Super Bowl. But like Patrick Mahomes is not going anywhere. I mean, he's 28, 10-year contract. You already have that guy, so like, you know, you could obviously stay.
Ride it out for as long as you can.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If his body's so.
Greg
Googly
Googly.
boogly.